Hi, this is Amy Tang, and this is my July creative assignment from Level 2 Dancing for Him, and I'm going to be sharing how I would teach a concept from the Processionals, Props, and Pageantry book by Lynn Hayden, either to a group of 20 workshop participants or 100 conference participants. So what I'm going to do is, the teaching part of it, I'm going to speak as if I'm speaking to the group, and that would be the same whether I'm teaching to 20 people or to 100 people. Then when it comes to the instructions for how to practice this, I'm going to give different instructions. But again, I'll speak as if I'm speaking to the conference participants themselves. Processionals are a very powerful and beautiful way to demonstrate the glory of God in worship. When we process forward with props, banners, flags, we usher in the presence and the glory of God. Today we're going to talk about how you can create patterns of movement, how you can enter in, literally have your worshipers enter the sanctuary in a way that is both beautiful and orderly. When you have many people entering the sanctuary, the beauty and the interest is going to come from the patterns and the simplicity of movement, not complex movements, because with too many people it's hard to be unified. So that's why patterns of movement can be so interesting with many people. One method of traveling is crossing. So this is when two lines of people weave in and out between each other. They might either come from opposite sides and the dancers weave in and out, or they can come together, come from the same side, weaving in and out. Another pattern that you can do is to have your group cross. So if you've got two groups of dancers coming from the back of the sanctuary from two different aisles, from two side aisles, where they would come from the sides, cross in the front, and take their place on the platform in the front. They could, from that, they're coming like this, come and actually form a cross on the platform. So if you had a circle, you might have all your dancers come down the center stage and then process in a circle around the platform. Obviously, you have to have a really deep platform to do something like this. Or you could have dancers coming from two sides and doing concentric circles. One group forms a circle in the middle and the other group circles around them. Once your dancers are both on the stage, they can trade places. So if you've got two lines, one in front of the other, those lines can trade places going between each other. Or you could have dancers in two lines facing the center of the stage, and they would trade places that way. Or even facing forward and walking sideways to trade places. Finally, you might have your dancers come in one line, if you just have a center aisle, and then peel three ways. So if they come down the center, one group goes straight up on the platform, another group goes off to the side, another group off to the other side. Or even if you've got more people, you can have two groups coming in and peeling three different ways. So these are some patterns you can use. Once you know what pattern you want to use, you want to decide, even before your group comes in, where you want them to end up. So have your dancers place them in there where you want them to be on the stage. And from there, you're going to work backwards for how to actually get them into that position, whether they're peeling, whether they're coming in the form of a cross, whether they're going to come into a circle. Back that up. You want to keep in mind spacing, that the dancers are evenly spaced, that they have enough room to move. If they've got props, that their props won't be hitting each other. You also want to consider their pacing. Usually in a procession, we move slowly. It's slow and carries a grandeur, although you can do a faster processional too. So you just have to decide that and make sure that everyone's moving at the same pace. So with those instructions now, I'm going to speak differently to the group of 20 people than I would to 100. I want you to divide into two groups of 10. One group, I want you to enter the sanctuary as if you have a middle aisle, and you're going to peel and come into your formation. You'll have 2 counts of 8 to do that, both to walk in, to find your formation, and have some simple movements with your arms or with your flags. Second group, your job is to come in and form 2 different lines on the platform and have those. You have 8 counts to get to those lines and 8 counts to trade places front to back. After they had presented these 2, then I would have them do a second set. So now I want you to this group of 10, I want you to come in and I want you to imagine that you have two different side aisles. So you're going to come down, you're going to cross each other and form a cross on the stage, and you have 2 counts of 8 to get into that formation and 1 count of 8 to choreograph some simple movements in that cross. The other group of 10, I want you to come on stage from the center and to form a circle, and you're going to give 1 count of 8 to get your group onto the stage, another count of 8 to choreograph simple movements in a circle. So by doing that, we've been able to cover 4 of the different patterns that we talked about with a smaller group of 20, each group doing 2 different concepts. All right, for the group of 100, we'll count you off from 1 to 5 until we have 5 groups of 20. Group 1, your job is to choreograph an entrance where you weave, you have 2 lines that weave between each other. Group 2, your job is to use the trading places. So to get your group on the platform in 2 different lines that trade places. Group number 3, your job is to come in from the side aisles from either side and form a cross and choreograph your first 8 counts of movement from the cross. Group number 4, your group is to come in and create concentric circles on the platform. And group number 5, your job is to come from the side aisles and to peel 3 different ways to form a formation. Now, because you have 20 people, you can use all 20 people in those formations, or if you're going to be if everyone's coming from the back of the room, what I want you to think about is what movement can you have in the front of the room. So you might have a few of your people come in from the side in the front with banners or billows at the very beginning, so you've got some movement in the front. Or you might have a group of dancers while the rest of you are coming down from the back doing some simple dancing in the front, so that the congregation always has something to watch even before the processional reaches the front. So those are your instructions. You are to, we'll come back after a few minutes and have you demonstrate what you've shown. So I hope that helps show how you could demonstrate with a group of 20 or a group of 100, 5 different ways of forming patterns for processionals that use simple movements but fairly complex patterns of movement on the platform or on the stage that can be glorious in worship. Thank you.